Hey guys, one of the major side effects you get from taking HGH is the classic carpal tunnel syndrome, which is numbness in the fingers, just specifically these fingers right here. We have three different nerves that innervate our hand. This area is the median nerve. This area is the ulnar nerve, like the one in the funny bone when you hit that, and then on the back of your hand is the radial. The median nerve travels through the carpal tunnel, and for some reason, I think it's due to fluid retention in this tunnel where the nerve passes through, it impinges it or blocks it. And this happens for me in the middle of the night or morning, when I guess like when my hands are just still for a long period of time, like wherever my hands are when I'm sleeping, it's just like this. And then I wake up in the middle of the night, and funny thing is, I have this recurring dream where I'm like, have frostbite. I wake up and I'm like kind of in a half sleep state, and I'm analyzing. It's like, oh, I guess I have frostbite for some reason, because like these two, index and this, and even my thumb to a degree, but mostly in the middle finger, you can't feel shit on it. It's just like ding, 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 ding. And then as I wake up, I realize I don't have frostbite, and I start like moving it, it comes back. And to be honest, the feeling is, it's a very interesting feeling. Like, it's not even like that bad of a feeling in a weird way. It's kind of interesting feeling, but it's getting to the point where I think it's a bit too much. And the reason why it's getting a bit too much is because I started taking more HGH. I've moved up to like 8 to 10 IUs a day, and I'm gonna back off a bit. For one, I don't want that anymore, and to the same degree. Second of all, you know, it's kind of burning a hole in my wallet taking that much HGH, and so I'm taking this like somatotropin. One of these costs like 210 bucks, and I fill up these insulin vials. I'll fill up like the whole 100 milligrams or whatever it is in here, or 100 units, and then inject a few at a time, a few units at a time, throughout like a day or two. One of those lasts. And but the thing is, like, normally I was having that numbness, and it would go away by, you know, a few minutes of like waking up. And the more you like kind of like pump your hands, it like gets the fluid going through it a bit more, the blood, like all fluids, blood and everything, right? So by doing that, it kind of goes away, so it's not that big of a deal. Although when you clench your hands, I can still kind of feel it now, and I can still feel it on the tip of this finger, which means that it's inducing a form of neuropathy, which is concerning. I do massage therapy, and when I was massaging this guy today, I was using like the tips of my fingers for some things, and yeah, as my fingers were numb. So, you know, it's not a pleasant feeling, but it's not that bad of a feeling. Although I don't think it's something you want to have for prolonged periods of time, because there are neuropathies that can happen. The classic one being, say you fall asleep on a chair like this, where you're drunk, then you'll wake up and you'll have like a claw hand, and your hand won't work, and sometimes that'll last for a long time, like months, because you impinged the nerve. That one, I believe, is the radian nerve in up in here in your armpit. It's called Saturday night palsy. Palsy is a neurological condition, like there's Bell palsy, places like that. Saturday night palsy is that one where somebody passes out. I know somebody this happened to personally, and because for hours they was impinged, they woke up and they had nerve damage in their arm, in their hand. I don't want that same thing to happen with the HGH, because, you know, kind of like that Saturday night palsy, you get that nerve impingement overnight for long periods of time when you're not moving your hands, and potentially, because when a nerve's impinged for that long, it could be damaged and essentially not die per se, but it's not going to work. So yeah, you don't want that. So I'm going to back off the HGH a little bit. And but that being said, it's fucking working beautifully. HGH is an amazing fucking drug, especially stacked upon a testosterone and or other anabolic. Like if you're just running pure TRT, I recommend stacking HGH on at like 2 IUs to 4 IUs a day, depending on how athletic you are, because your recovery is going to be better, your growth and your regeneration, everything's going to be so much better. It does that. I attribute it to the amount of fullness that I got, although I'm sure the other anabolics did a lot there as well. That I was taking before I was taking 400 tests and 400 primo, and then I added the HGH. Like, I was just waking up in the morning, and the level of fullness that I was feeling in my muscles, it was like I woke up with a pump. Like I just did fucking bicep pumping, a whole body pump. I never experienced that before like that. So I think I attributed to the HGH was that's really when I started taking it, and it takes, I believe it takes like a month or two before you really start feeling effect. But then once you do, it's like I'm gonna say it's like one of the major compounds that I might never stop taking, to be honest. And it's, I think the price point is, you have to get a good source that's most likely a generic source, because if you're running just straight up like pharma grade stuff, that's, unless you're rich as fuck, then that's going to be crazy expensive. But I made a video on this in the past, like, what's the real difference between pharma and generic stuff? Probably not much, to be honest, these days, from generic being pharmaceutical companies from China that are making it. I guarantee it's still probably really good quality, and you know it is, because when you're taking 6 to 8 IUs, it's making your fucking hands go numb. That it's doing what it's supposed to do, unless there's another drug they're adding in that's making it do that, but I highly doubt that. So HGH it's amazing. It's an amazing thing to add on to the stack, whether you're doing a TRT dose or the bodybuilding dose. A lot of bodybuilders, they might not take high amounts of it. Some people are just genetically gifted, I guess, where they don't really need it. They just got a massive frame and they're big enough already. Like, okay, you probably don't need a shit ton of HGH. Me, I was never naturally a bigger guy, so I had a good like shoulder ratio to height ratio. So like, okay, I got a bit of a good like frame, but like HGH, the major thing that I'm adding it to my stack is for the regeneration of tissue after doing exercises. At my age, it's like if I do a leg day before, when I was like natural, it would be like 2 or 3 days before I could hit it again. So, like, and without even doing like in a crazy intense leg day. Like, it was just like my adductors or my hamstrings were just like fucked from doing a bunch of squats. So now I do that, I can probably hit like, I did a crazy leg day yesterday. I could have done legs today if I really wanted, but I'm not going to. Like, I still felt it. I mean, I'll wait at least one day, but like, I felt like I could, and I attributed that to the anabolics to a degree, and the fact that I'm really well conditioned at the moment, a lot more than probably I was before. It's because I'm working out hardcore. But to go back to the HGH, I guess the last thing I want to say is, like, I don't know, like, would you, first as testosterone base, right? After that, would you go to a nandrolone or like another DHT stack on the testosterone, or would you go to the HGH first? I've heard somebody who I follow suggest that they take the other anabolic compound first before the HGH. I'm going to go and say take the HGH first before the anabolic compounds when you're that beginner. Like, get that good testosterone, like a 200 to 300 milligrams a week of testosterone to start, add the HGH, get a few months of that in, and then add that secondary compound. Don't just jump in when you start taking anabolics to, like I did, 2 hours I did. Oh, you could do whatever you want, add Primobolan, something that's like, get your feet wet, something like a testosterone HGH stack, just right off the bat, would be a wonderful thing you'll to see benefits from. And I believe that there's kind of a complementary synergistic effect that happens, and I don't know the chemistry of this. Well, I kind of do, but not to the extent that I want to. I'm not going to
pretend to tell you what it will do, but like essentially it has to do with the fact that testosterone converts to estrogen, and estrogen is essential in the utilization of HGH in I believe the delivery of insulin growth factor 1 to the tissues that where it actually grows. And I'll just leave one last statement where I take it just 3 IUs usually in the morning, 3 at night, or lately I take a bit of a bigger dose at night, so it's like 3 in the morning and even 5 at night. So, and I take it always in the stomach area right here. Okay, this video is getting over 10 minutes. I usually like to limit my videos to about this length of time. If you have any questions about HGH, anything, or like the symptoms that I've been talking about, the numbness in my hands, have you experienced that yourself? What do you suggest? Maybe there's somebody out there might have some good advice on what to do about that. So yeah, you just leave in the comments section below. And lately I've been getting a lot of great comments in my videos, so really appreciate everybody who's contributing to my page. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.